here to help us with the session. All right. Yeah, I can see Miss Azizah is already on here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Okay. All right. So we are going to have the name, like we will invite according to the list here. So we are going first. We are going to invite Bella, and then Nailal and Uswa and Bismi, Shafira, Yulia, and Safira Lujan, and last one is Oka. Right. So the point that we need you to present briefly is about the background a bit, and then your research question, and then your methodology, and the fourth one is the sufficiency of your resources, references. Okay, make sure that you have a lot of references here, because if we then accept your title but not enough references, you will put yourself in trouble later on. Okay, all right. So okay, so now we invite Bella to have about maybe 5 until 6 minutes. Okay, make it brief, because we have read your paper. What we want to see now is your presentation, whether you understand what you have written or not. Okay, all right. Before we invite Bella now to have her 5 minutes until 6 minutes, please. Yes, Bella, you can start.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Proficiency wa alihi wasallam. Honorable Miss Khairiah Syahabuddin, Mr. Saiful, Miss Azizah, and Miss Rahmi Fhonna. Today, this opportunity is present about my proposal. The title of my proposal is the use of media as a means to improve booking assessment. We know this is part of communication. It is an activity used to communicate with others. Many people say speaking is the easiest way to learn. It is skill you just need to order want to say depending on the quality of the information to be communicated. The goal of communicative content is to make students speak. Students should be able to communicate in order to get information or express what they feel. As one of English first skill, speaking skill is really important for English learners. It's one of the skills should be mastered by students besides reading, writing, and listening. Speaking and listening skills have a relationship. In speaking, students must be listening and speak correct. Because it's not only remembering and memorizing distance, but the content is how the student ideally. However, to be master in speaking English, thing practice to speakly, but condition environmentally for them to speak. Some many students cannot speak out because their English level and to mistake when they are to speak English. It can make this student to be quiet, not active in speaking English. To avoid this problem, the teacher needs out the active way to speaking. The teacher should do a media like a game, speak. Media is used to help the student for speaking to make an interaction between the teachers and students. It's useful in teaching process. The media that make teaching easy to transfer knowledge. The student will be spirit when studying when with the media. The media I mentioned before is snake and ladder. Snake and ladder is how a game for readers in many countries of the world. It is a kind of educational conduct for as a scientifically rapid game. Game can use its teaching. Game used in small groups. They will speak according to the or interest onto the part. The student will speak to friends with in a group. They will be just speaking, being afraid of making mistake because they just talk in the group. From the explanation about the writer is interested to take one study to investigate the effectiveness snake ladder media in improving students speaking English. Under the title, the use of snake and ladder media as an impact to improve the speaking achievement. For the study, computer has found a researcher has been by Hidayati in academic year 2011. Second research has been done by Varia in 2013. The third research has been done on Sarika in 2004. And the first research has been done by Hidayati 2012. And the research has been done by Rahmati 2012. The research has been done by Nasi 2007. The second research has been done by Dia Yunita in academic year 2012 till 2013. The last one, the research has been done by Bulan, Gelbi, and Arikan. From the research found, they use different research approach. The first is a qualitative approach research and use a quantitative approach research. Similar with the same use game as the object of research. From the research questions, research found two questions. First one is how do students use game of snake and ladder media as an platform to improve engagement? And the second one is snake and ladder media conduct in the effort to speaking achievement. Objective of the research is to find out which in improving the student achievement use the game of snake and ladder as a new platform. Second one, to find the snake and ladder media that support improving the speech assessment. In the literature, the work has found there that relate to the topic of the research. The first one is the definition of English speaking. According to George and Hans, 2008, page 207, speaking is speech of or related to people have intentionally recognize speaker and receiver process. An process of intention to recognize the meaning that involve producing, receiving, and processing information. This means are dependent on the context in which occurs, including the themselves, their collective experiential environment, and the purpose for speaking. Speaking is especially important of the goal in action. It is important someone to interact with others in order to maintain a relationship. So can be as important as you say in meaning. It is very effective by the listener speaker. Both the speaker and listener will agree on the or meaning talk acceptable language. However, to master in speaking English is not easy thing. Many learners say that speaking is difficulty mastered. In 2001, Brown argued that are characteristics that make speaking difficult. Those are redundancy, redisform, performance, variable, colloquial language, of delivery, stress, intonation. To combat the difficulties, speaking must be taught by the teacher knows the early remember devices, since it is easy to use language and understand it used in communication, whether in the spoken or in the written mode. Our discussion was about achievement. Achievement in 1987, Underhill is the common skill which is understanding and the component of language, such as pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. Therefore, the success of conducting speaking depending on mastering of the component. The component have to master speaker. The speaker will bring the communication and the that is transferred is difficult to understand. To help this problem, the teacher to apply an appropriate speaking technique. Appropriate speaking technique as measure of knowing a language. In speaking a student make the goal and objective of the curriculum. They assert further about the definition that achievement is may be one ability or the extent of student knowledge in specific set area. Main goal of the teaching productive language is main goal of is the student in order to be familiar and learn using the language. The third one is learning media. Learning media is communication which carrying the information that and the receiver. Learning media could be divides the career message from the teacher to the student.
Can I interrupt for a while, Bella?
And the
Bella?
media can
Bella? Can I interrupt? Okay. You take longer than you have taken longer than needed. Okay. Only 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes. You mentioned now research question. Don't read. Okay, because we have research question. Okay, and then what method, and then how many references about that topic. Okay. Now you can start with research question and method, and then how many references. Yes.
Okay, Bu. Yes,
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for
Bella, sebentar.
So
moral of this is make sure that you have to speak only 5 minutes, like
5 minutes.
So all you have to do is you just say your research question.
Learning media. Okay, learning media we use text and letters. Text and letter is a kind of educational gap purpose of emphasizing student repetitive speaking. The teacher uses text and letter media to create to make a student able to speak in English. So for the research design, I found research method. The reader will use climate action research in this research. The teacher and the researcher to get the information about how this work, how the student learning, how the teacher. Okay, so depending of the classroom research, data is always statistical procedure with me to handle. Okay, so the statistical procedure are to indicate the problem. The problem happened in the teaching class then decide actions to overcome with. To handle with this problem, the writer used a question design, the previous, photos, and non-equivalent design. And then in research, prints and process these involve essential and control. For the population sample population, the writer will do a research in the same high school 7, and the writer will use sampling to draw a sample from population. Okay, so these writers two class of class of 7A for experimental class and 7B for control class.
Okay,
For
Bella,
the
Bella.
technique of collecting data.
Enough. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that is okay because you have mentioned the research question and methodology. I want to know now. Oh, tiba-tiba ada bunga. I want to know now how many resources or references entitled the snake and ladder. How many do we have references about that? Do you get me, Bella? How many?
What miss? I'm sorry.
I think you have to take out the earphone. Are you using earphone?
Phone.
Yeah. Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay now. How many resources about snake and ladder? How many books about snake and ladder? For your references, how many? Berapa bahan yang berbicara tentang snake and ladder? Can you hear me?
Untuk snake ladder, dalam mungkin dalam tes Bella punya bos dari tes itu mental dan tes cultural class. Terus and then questionnaire 5 item of closed question form alternative or no answer.
Bukan itu, Mister. Bahan bacaan tentang snake and ladder itu berapa banyak? Bahan bacaan tentang snake and ladder itu berapa banyak? Enggak kedengaran ya? Enggak kedengaran?
Untuk bahan bacaan ada sekitar 15 Miss. 15 ya 10 PF jurnal Miss.
Ya, nah pertanyaannya adalah yang tentang snake and ladder itu berapa banyak? Tentang snake and ladder berapa banyak bacaannya? Snake and ladder berapa banyak bacaannya?
Khusus snake and ladder itu ada berapa referensinya?
Khusus untuk itu aja berapa referensinya? Nggak kedengaran? Nggak kedengaran ya?
Miss, mau jaringannya Miss gimana Miss? Mau jaringannya?
Ini referensi tentang snake and ladder. Snake ladder.
Oke, about referensi ada tentang ya.
Berapa banyak tentang snake and ladder? Snake and ladder.
Miss, untuk snake and ladder.
Ya, berapa? Berapa banyak tentang snake and ladder? Ya. Khusus tentang snake and ladder. Khusus tentang snake and ladder. Berapa banyak?
Untuk and ladder, untuk materi buat snake and ladder,
ya. Berapa?
Untuk snake and ladder, itu punya gini Miss, untuk snake and ladder punya oke, yang pertama Bella tahu dulu, Bella kasih proses dulu kan,
Bukan.
bukan.
Bella, bukan.
Mereka
Bella, bukan. Coba Rahmi kasih nampak tadi. Rahmi apa tadi yang dikasih nampak sama Rahmi? Coba dibaca punya Bu Rahmi. Baca, Bella nggak dengar. Aduh, susah banget.
bisa baca nih Kak.
Bella. Halo Bella.
Ya,
Bella baca. Baca punya Miss Rahmi. Tulis. Ada punya tulis. Bella, lihat screen. Lihat screen. Bella. Lihat, Miss Mi.
Maaf, tapi mungkin semuanya. Dia nggak bisa nengok.
Ada
kayaknya Bella jelek jaringan.
Aduh, gimana ceritanya? Baca punya Miss Rahmi tadi. Miss Rahmi tadi tulis. Coba dibaca apa yang ditulis Miss Rahmi. Bukan.
Jadi
bukan. Baca ini. Baca. Di layar. Baca di layar.
Nggak terang mungkin, Bu.
Enggak ya. Oh my God.
Nggak nampak apa kita.
Kita skip dulu boleh nggak? Ya. Ya sudah.
skip dulu Bella. Jadi
Bella di skip dulu ya.
skip dulu Bella, berarti siapa?
Bella di skip dulu ya. Kita sama yang lain ya.
Ya.
Kita sama lain dulu.
Ibu. Ibu.
Ya.
Halo.
Ya.
Azizah? Sedikit boleh Ibu.
Ayo.
Mungkin kan jaringannya agak susah kan, Bu? Tapi sedikit boleh nggak ada revisi di judul Bella?
Oke. Nah, dari itu
Bella.
Bella stop dulu. Oke, Bella stop dulu. Miss Azizah mau ngomong sebentar.
Iya, Bella.
Silakan Miss Azizah.
Iya, Bella, bisa nggak tolong itu kan judul diminimize sedikit. Judulnya diminimize sedikit. Dengar di sana. Judulnya diminimize. Jadi kan judulnya itu nggak usah panjang kali, cuma pakai aja the use of snake and ladder in improving student speaking ability. Bisa dengar, Bella? Bisa?
Dipa bisa catat terus. Jadi kita nggak connect lagi ke si Dela.
Oke. Boleh. Kita lanjut ke orang kedua aja ya.
Nah.
Oke. Sip. Oke, boleh.
Oke, sekarang kita masuk ke Nailal. Semua udah oke. Nailal, oke. Please make it only 5 minutes. Okay. You need to say background only 2 minutes. And then research question 2 minutes. Method 2 minutes or 1 minute. And how many references that you have regarding your topic. Okay, only 5 minutes done. Okay, proceed.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Mrs. Khairiah, Ms. Rahmi, Ms. Dipa, Ms. Azizah, and Mr. Saiful, who cannot join now. And today I would like to present about my thesis proposal. So, in the background of study, there are many students in Indonesia find difficulty to master in English, 4 aspects in English at once, and then. Nowadays, many universities in Indonesia, especially in Indonesia, try to adopt tests to measure the ability in learning English or in English language proficiency, such as TOEFL and IELTS. To achieve that mastery in English, many students, there are some various aspects that influence. One of them is self-efficacy. Self-efficacy has been used in many research, many various variety, such as social, economic, politics, and academic environments. But however, there are only few studies in relation to foreign language achievement and self-efficacy. Because of that, I'm interested to investigate how the relationship between self-efficacy and English, the achievement in English language proficiency. So about the research questions, here I have one research question, is how the correlation between self-efficacy and their achievement in English language proficiency. I took the place in Araniri Islamic State University. And that about the chapter 3. The research question that I'll adopt here is quantitative research. About the research design is a correlation model or correlation design. And the population is about a student in Islamic Araniri State University with a lot of test that will took about 2 weeks. And then about the sampling here, about the sample here is 80 samples with the random sampling. And then for the technique collection data, I will use here instrument that is questionnaire to guide my data collection. And then about data analysis, I use here SPSS to see how the data normally distributed. And then for the analysis test, I conduct about T-square. About the references, I write in this paper about 12 references, and to guide my references to the title is about 8 references about self-efficacy.
Right, thank you, Nailal. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. I would like to invite Ms. Rahmi to give some comments, please.
Yeah, Miss. I cannot hear you.
Can I hear you, Miss? Kamar boleh?
Miss Rahmi kecil kali ininya. Suaranya kecil.
Mana sih? Kamar aja dulu.
Diva, tolong mute-kan Miss Azizah sebentar. Tolong mute-kan Miss Azizah.
Ya,
Ya, Miss
sebentar.
Rahmi, Miss Rahmi. Mute kan Miss Azizah bentar, Miss Rahmi.
Karena suaranya masuk. Udah, oke.
You use the correlation. Your research question is about the correlation, right? So the correlation, how do you find your, how do you analyze the data? How do you analyze the data?
I analyze the data here with the cheese first is about after I collect the data. And then I determine the level of the participant in self-efficacy and their English language achievement. And then after that, I use SPSS to determine how the data is normal distributed.
Yeah,
After
I know.
that, yeah.
Actually, because we want to have a look on the correlation, yeah, we should use something like, you know, how do both variables connected. So your variables is self-efficacy and
English language achievement.
Achievement. So two variables. Yeah. So how they connect each other? How they connect? And then how did you find that their connection is good or not?
How they connect? They connect. Miss, do you mean that why I use chi-square?
No. So actually you have to find how they connect each other first, which is it's good, it's bad, or something like that. Yeah, so how do you find them? Something like that.
Based on the background, there are some studies about self-efficacy and English language proficiency. There are the result about that is have a good connected, and then also here some studies state that found that self-efficacy student could be better succeed from their peers with the same academic level, or they can achieve in a good English language proficiency test. Okay. Yeah, Miss. Dengar, Miss.
To find any correlation, so actually we use product moment.
Yes.
Yes.
Proposal.
Nggak
ada di proposalnya. Ada product moment. Formula R product moment ini ada nggak di sini?
Oh, nggak ada di proposalnya.
Jadi gimana cara kita
tambah?
Berarti perlu ditambahkan kayak gitu misalnya.
Nanti.
Oke, Mas.
Dari korelasi ya.
Ya,
biasanya yang rumus korelasi itu kan pakai N product moment itu. Ya kan? Nanti kalau misalnya mau dimasukkan ke SPSS pun oke. Tapi tetap harus cari dulu gimana korelasinya. Udah, satu lagi. Oke, one more.
Yeah.
The standard of the result of correlation. Ya, harus cari standar korelasinya. Bagus tidak bagusnya itu berdasarkan punya siapa. So you have to find references regarding that one, okay?
Okay, Miss.
Okay, Bu.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Rahmi. Now we invite Miss Azizah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Azizah?
Yeah,
Azizah.
okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, for Nailal, yeah. I think the title is okay, and Miss Rahmi also have already asked to add some point, yeah. So I think Khairiah, all okay for Nailal.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Azizah. To Nailal, there are a lot of references on these matters. Okay, please find some more because I believe there are a lot. Okay, about efficacy. Okay, and then you need to add a bit just to remind yourself about the one that Miss Rahmi has mentioned. Because we don't know who will be your supervisor later on. So if then that supervisor forgets to let you know, you already know from Miss Rahmi's point. Okay? Okay, right.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay. So then we accept Nailal Hidayati's proposal. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss.
Yeah, welcome. Now we invite Uswatun Hasanah, 5 minutes, please. Uswah, I can't see you, or maybe the screen is small. Yeah, Uswah. Yes, Uswah. 5 minutes only.
Miss,
Can you hear me, Uswah?
Yes, it's my audio.
5 minutes only, just like Nailal did. Okay, a bit of background, and then research questions, and then methodology, and then how many references that you gathered already about this. Okay, proceed. You can proceed now. Sorry.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I will just jump to the point about the background of the study, because we know that in this era, there's a lot English language is become international language. So we, as an English student who study in English department, is really important in the future to teach the students in English in a appropriate method or approach. Teaching method, in teaching learning process. So as a teacher, we need to make a plan or a good strategy so we can make a good connection when the students and teachers in a teaching learning process. And about the research question, the first research question is, how is the effectiveness of using communicative approach in English speaking club to improve students in their speaking fluency and accuracy? And the second research question is, what are students' response of using communicative approach in learning speaking to improve their speaking fluency and accuracy? And for the methodology, in this research, I'm using a quantitative research design. And in this research also, I will use a pre-experimental research, which will use one group of pre-test and post-test. And and also I want to add more for data collection. I will use experimental teaching for the first thing, and the second is test, post-test, and pre-test, and the last is the questionnaire. And in here I'm using closed questionnaire, which is use yes or no, or yeah, something like that. And after, for the reference, I got, there's a lot of reference actually about communicative approach, but in here, I just took just 32 references from journal.
Right. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Uswah. Is Mr. Saiful on? Deepa, is Mr. Saiful on?
Yes.
Yes, I'm on.
Okay, right. Okay, because I couldn't see your face; it's just blank. Okay, please, Saiful, give comments. I couldn't see your face here. Is it blackout or what?
I don't know what I'm been pushing on the button, but
okay, I see you, please. Yes.
Yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes.
My only comment will be that your title seems very, very familiar to me, at least, because I'm with Bu Masna selecting some proposals many times, and I've seen some of the titles of English speaking club. The only difference is that you are using the communicative approach, and you are focusing on fluency and accuracy. The rest, I think it's pretty similar. So I suggest you to put first, this is in terms of reference, please use reference from, if possible, one from Journal Englisya, and maybe 2 from repository from your seniors, so you can see the difference. Yeah, and please do not say that it is not available. It is available, unless the one who just graduated last semester. And so I see quite a lot of, so the first comment on references, you don't have to respond on this. The other thing, are you using qualitative or quantitative?
Quantitative, sir.
What method of quantitative? What type of quantitative research?
In this research, I will use pre-experimental, sir.
Pre-experimental, okay.
For data collection, I will do experimental teaching. I will go to, by the way, for my population, I will teach students English speaking club in Riyadh.
In Riyadh? Oh, yeah, bro. No, the thing is, I'm sorry if I have dissenting opinion with some other boards, but I'm thinking that maybe you could modify a bit apart from, is it possible to teach at this moment?
Sorry, sir?
Is it possible to teach? You go to the classroom and teach and do the experimental teaching and so on. Is it possible?
Inshallah, sir, because I've been faced a lot of before, because I already teach some students also in school. So, and that's
no. I mean, sorry to interrupt you. Can you teach? You know, this is during the pandemic situation. Can you teach? I mean, we don't want to delay you, but you need to modify the method of. If it's possible to teach, then it's fine. If it's not, then you should talk to your supervisors. Okay, that's all, Ibu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Saiful. So basically, from Mr. Saiful, everything is fine. But then later on, when it is accepted, you need to discuss more with the way you take the data from the field. If it is not possible to do the teaching or going to the field, then you have to find another way to get together the data. Okay, that's from Mr. Saiful. Is it okay, Uswa?
Right, Miss.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay, right. Right. You would like to invite Miss Azizah to give some comments about yours? Please, Ibu.
Okay. Thank you, Ibu. I think the title, yeah. How if Uswa do not need to use the effectiveness, but only use the use of blah, 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 blah. I think it's better. But it's up to you. Yeah, I think only that.
All right. So Uswa, thank you, Miss Azizah. So what Miss Azizah responds about your topic is better not to use effective, because you might not be able to teach, while the word effective means like you have to compare very well between before and after. So it means like you really need to go to take data from the field, while in this situation you may not have that opportunity.
Okay, Miss. I got Miss. Halo, Miss. Miss saya ya.
Khairiah mungkin ini apa mati
Harus selesai ya. Lagi mati lampu kali. Ya, usaha tadi kalau memang memungkinkan, ya kalau memang bisa eksperimen, nanti ada effectiveness-nya bisa diganti dengan reuse aja.
Kenapa, Miss?
Effectiveness-nya diganti
Oh iya.
aja.
Iya, Miss.
Effectiveness-nya. Ya, diganti dengan
Ya boleh, Miss Azizah. Thank you so much,
Ya,
Miss.
as well Saiful, ya. Ya. Okay. I don't know what happened with you, Khairiah. Yeah, Rahmi.
Okay. All right. Is it okay now?
Okay.
Okay, all right. I went somewhere else. I don't know why. Okay, right. We invite Miss Rahmi, please. Couldn't see the screen. Yeah. Okay, Miss.
Actually, it's similar to what Miss Azizah said, but just be aware of how to write, research question and the purpose of your study. So make it similar. I mean, make it, connect each other. So how do you write research question, and then so do you with the research purpose. And
right.
then also, make sure about your references. I think some are too old. Yeah. So your references, make it some the recent one.
Yeah.
About references, it seems like the references that she got, it's too old. Some of references are too old, so she might change.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Miss Rahmi. Right. So for Uswa, and for others actually, not only for Uswa, is it possible for all of you to have or to collect the references between only 1 decade, 10 years? The best one is 10 years, so not to all. Okay, we don't want jadul one because this doesn't have any effective anymore to today's situation. Okay, so make it only 10 years back from today. Okay, from this year. All right. So by that, okay, we want Uswah to a bit to revise, to make connection between the
research
question,
question,
the research methodology. Okay. Okay. Then by this, we accept Uswah's proposal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss.
You're welcome. So now we should Bismi. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Miss, for the opportunity. So today I would like to explain to you about my thesis proposal. So the title is about students' motivation to learn English at Islamic Senior High School, Prestige, Islamic Values and Obligation. So as we know that learning English is very important nowadays, and one of key factors that can influence students in learning is motivation. So that's why I'm going to make a research about motivation. And as I told you before, that motivation is really important in learning, because even some experts say that motivation have a big influence in students in learning the language. And which means that if students don't have motivation, they will hard to learn because they don't have any desire or enthusiasm in learning. So I make this study because I've been read some journals that works on motivation, and all of them more about the correlation between student motivation and their achievement. But in my study, I make it pretty different because I conduct three variables altogether, which is prestige, Islamic values, and education. So here in this study, I want to find out that what the major reason that students want to learn English. Is it to get a prestige or an honor that given to them by someone? Or is it because to spread Islamic values? Because as we know that English is international language, so in order to spread it, they have to master English language. And also, or is it because obligation, school obligation, which means that they don't have, they have to learn it because as their duty as students in their school. Well, for the research method, I'm going to use qualitative, and for the research design, I'm going to use descriptive, and the population in this study, I'm going to use the second grade students, and the sample 10% from the population. And for the sampling, I'm going to use a random sampling. And also the technique data collection is interview, or I use interview because I think that's really suitable in my study, because I'm going to ask them one by one, and because I'm going to use them ask them one by one, face to face, which is I think that's really suitable in my research. And the technique that I use in this research is qualitative, and also the method of data analysis. First, I'm going to interview them, and then I'm gonna write some notes and then record during the interview, and I'm going to transcribe and then analyze and interpret it, and then after that I'm gonna make a conclusion.
Right.
Okay, Miss.
And then how many references about this?
About motivation itself, I have, it's about 13 resources. And for Islamic values, I have 1 resources, and for prestige, I have 2 resources.
Right. Okay. Now, about the topic itself, to Bismi.
Yeah,
okay.
Miss.
How many that actually do you have articles that combine between motivation and Islamic morals, Islamic values? Yeah. How many do you have?
Only one, Miss. Because
that's a problem. There will be a problem because this is not separately. This is not all about motivation.
yes.
This is not all about the obligation. But you need article that join together. You have about 10 until 15. Do you have about that? How many do you have?
I have only one, Miss, because mostly the study about motivation, they only make a study about correlation. I mean, I can say that this study actually pretty I don't have
So the title seems okay to me. The topic seems okay to me, but regarding the topic, I would suggest not to make a limit. So probably you just want to say student motivation to learn English at Islamic Senior High School. Okay, that the title that you give. Sorry, this is not what I mean. The title you give is the title for article, not for a proposal or not for a research. Okay, so we don't know. I can't read which one is independent variable and dependent variable. Actually, what do you want to see? Actually, what do you want to see here?
Actually, Miss, I want to investigate that what the major reason that students learn English, between to get prestige or to spread Islamic values or because school obligation. I want to see between those categories, which one is the dominant category.
I don't think that's the topic can conclude what you mean. So I think you have to rewrite the topic, and then you need to add about 10 or 15 articles that can support your topic. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. Okay? Okay, so from my point of view, you have to rewrite the title because I don't understand what you want to see through the title. And then you don't have enough journals, okay, that what people have done about your topic.
Yes. Okay, Miss.
Can you hear me? But
Yes,
I'm not sure about other lecturers would suggest. Can I invite Miss Rahmi to add some more comments about this? Please, Miss.
I also don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand about the title. Actually, you have to revise the title a little bit. I don't think you might put prestige or Islamic values on that and obligation. Yeah, so you have to revise something about it. And then also about your research question, you have to learn how to formulate research question. Yeah.
Sorry, Miss, I can't hear you.
Okay. So what you want to look for is about the dominant motivation, right?
Yes, Miss.
Yes. So what do you mean by dominant motivation here?
I mean, here I have what I limited it. I make a limitation of the first motivation is to get president because to spread Islamic values. Third one, because of obligation. So between those three.
Okay. So you have to mention, you have to make it clear, and you have to state it in literature. Only 3 points that you have mentioned about the obligation, something prestige, blah blah blah. So you have to state it in literature review, and as Ms. Khairiah said, that you have to find
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Miss.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Rahmi. We will Pak Saiful to add some more evaluation or comments, please.
Okay, Bismi. Yeah, I agree with Ibu Rahmi and Ibu Khairiah. I think you need to clarify your title.
Okay.
It seems to me that your focus is the way you want to phrase it in your
sir.
Let me check again. We're going to do this in Mansigli, yeah?
Yes, sir.
What is the method?
The method, I'm going to
Qualitative.
Yep.
Okay. What data collection instrument? Can you say again?
Interview, sir.
What type of interview?
Wait, sir, sorry. Semi-structured model, sir.
Semi, how many?
I think 5 or
I don't
5
know.
to
You
10.
need to expand a bit your list of questions. Although you have all questions, but as Ibu Rahmi says, it is it's still so easy. Using qualitative sampling technique, clearly your qualitative sampling technique, purposive sampling technique is divided into the models. For example, you should state you're going to go with judgment or snowball or whatever. And then please explain to you are going to present a little bit profile of your participant and then justify why should you choose them. Yeah, apart from the methodological aspect, if you choose qualitative, then say it, I'm using position or and they as well as quantitative. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Pak Saiful, who has given plenty of me.
Yeah, Ibu. Actually,
Miss. Okay.
can explain some point that I
So you have to make sure that if you have done all the revision suggested by Pak Saiful, Bu Rahmi, and Bu Azizah, but then you cannot add, okay, some more immediate references. So we can't take it because one is not enough. Okay, one references not enough. Okay, you put yourself in trouble. Okay, unless you have enough references, maybe say 8 until 10, okay, from any sources, and then we can take it. Otherwise, we will put you in danger. Okay, make sure brilliant. Okay, because I can find one references. All right. So I put here as a note that to refine your references, then it is accepted. Otherwise, because only one references that you have mentioned earlier. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Honorable all lecturers, in this opportunity, I would like to explain about my proposal. It's about the correlation between students' learning style and their English proficiency. So as we know that everybody have their own learning style, everybody have their own strength and preference when it comes to learning. So some might comfortable learning through reading book, or some might comfortable with learning through the video. So here there are many theories about learning style, but I just focus on the Nailal Fleming learning style about PARK, which stands for visual, oral, reading and written, and kinesthetic. Usually every student have one learning style, and by understanding this, the characteristic and the learning style at each student, it will be easier for the teacher to integrate teaching patterns to various technique and approach, and also for the students, if they acknowledge their own learning style, they can decide which learning material that's suitable for them to learn at home and to learn in school, so that they can learning in effective way. So with the right teaching and learning process will make student language proficiency develop. And so based on that background, I want to conduct a study about to investigating the correlation between students' learning style and their English proficiency. Here in this research, I have 2 question research. First, what kind of learning style that Darul Uloom students are commonly used, and then are there any significant difference between students with visual, oral, kinesthetic, read and reading learning style in terms of their English proficiency? And then for the method, for the population, I'm gonna use I'm gonna take 2nd grade of junior high school in Darul Uloom boarding school, Islamic boarding school, and they have 5 classes, which consisting 150 students. So for the sample, I will use 10 to 50% of students as the sample, which is 23 people. And for the method, I'm gonna use observation and questionnaire. So the observation will use unstructured observation to see the class teaching and learning activities, and the questionnaire I will use PARK guidelines questionnaire that developed by Nailal Fleming, and it's 16 multiple choice. Yeah. And for research design, I'm gonna use quantitative method, which is correlational.
Right. Okay, Shafira, how many references that immediate references for your topic? Immediate references.
Total 20. It's 20 references.
About that topic only, not about others.
Yeah.
So the connection, the connection between that, it is what I mean by immediate one. How many do you have?
It's about 10.
10 only. Why only 10?
Because
You need to add. You need to add more. Okay. Later on, you need to add more. But for today, that's fine. Immediate 10 fine, but not only 1 or 2, but you need more than that. Right. My comment about that is your topic is quite wide. Okay. Your topic is quite wide to see student learning style with their ability in English. Okay. If I could suggest, why not you take only one particular proficiency, for example, like what their student style in connect with their writing, for example, or maybe reading or listening or speaking. Because if you take a lot, if you take 4, then you have to divide and it will not go deep, not deep, because like you have to take all 4 skills, okay, to connect to their learning style. So I would suggest you pick one only, maybe learning style in listening or speaking or reading or writing, and then how that learning style can enhance or can help them in achieving that kind of skills. That I feel about that's much better taking 4. Right? Okay, this is my suggestion. You make it smaller. Okay? Up to you. Which one you like? You personally like, you take one. Maybe you like reading, so you need to see what students' learning style in helping them probably to increase their skill in reading, okay, or in writing or in any other skills. Right? That's my suggestion, but it's up to you whether you want to take it or not. Right. Now I would like to invite Miss Rahmi to give comment, please, to Shafira. Miss Rahmi, yes.
Yes. Okay, so I go with you, Khairiah, because it's true. So you have to make it smaller. Unless you need more than, you know, you need more your title is about the correlation between students' learning style, right?
Yes.
So something about correlation.
Yeah.
But why don't you put something correlation in your research question?
Yes, Miss.
Your title is about correlation. Yeah, Shafira?
Yes, Miss.
Yes. And then why don't you put the correlation in your research question? Because this one is really important and you want to find the correlation. So I cannot find any correlation on your research question. Do you know what I mean, Shafira?
Yes, Miss.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Miss. I can't hear your voice.
So what you need to do is, for the first is, how is the correlation between students' learning style and their English proficiency? It should be your first research question. Okay, so actually it should be your first research question.
All right, thank you, Miss Rahmi, for that. Sorry, I got
siap.
panjang karena diam tadi. Okay.
I'm sorry, Miss. I can clearly hear you.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. Belum siap.
Okay. Can't hear you. Rahmi. I can't hear Rahmi.
I can hear you, Miss.
Hear Miss Rahmi.
Miss.
What Miss Rasmi says?
I can.
Okay, yeah.
She has to add another such question that is related to her title.
Right. Okay.
So, for example, how is the correlation between students' learning style and their English proficiency? Yeah,
Okay, right.
the
Correct.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, okay, and then how do you analyze the questionnaire then?
Oh, there is a questionnaire like this questionnaire chart for that, Miss. So in the questionnaire guideline, there's also a chart that we can access the questionnaire there.
How any specific formula for a questionnaire?
In the questionnaire there is provided like a table to assess the questionnaire.
Okay.
So if the questionnaire already answered by the student, we can put the answer in the table and we can see which one is the learning style dominant for the student.
Oh, okay. So make sure that what you have done is related to your research question. Okay? Okay. And then also, like Bu Khairiah said, so you have to choose between the 4 skills, whether it is writing, listening, speaking, or reading. Yeah. Otherwise, you need more time to do this research because it's too broad. Okay. Thank you, Bu Khairiah.
Thank you, Rahmi. Now we invite Miss Azizah, please.
Okay, Ibu, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Yes, okay. I agree with you and Ibu Rahmi that actually, Shafira, you need to make it smaller. Yeah, to kill only to make you can explain this deeply. And then in technique of data collection, why you need to put that?
Yes.
In data collection, one thing you need to put data documents for. Documentation.
Oh, because I want to see the correlation between performance and their proficiency. So the proficiency is based on their grade. So I put it in the top documentation. So the grades of students will be input in data documentation.
Yeah, but actually you don't mention it in data documentation. So you have to mention it clearly. Why do you need to put data documentation? Yeah. Okay, Shafira, you have mentioned data documentation for your technique of data collection. Okay.
Sorry, Miss, I can hear you.
Yeah. Actually, you need to mention clearly. One, you need data documentation. Yeah, because here you mention in data documentation you put including a summary for the location of the school, the education system. I don't think you need to mention it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all, Ibu.
Right. Thank you, Miss Azizah. Now we would like to invite Pak Saiful, please, to give some comments or evaluation.
Yes. So, Shafira, you're doing learning style. Again, What kind of learning style? Significant differences. Are you using quantitative correlation? Yeah.
Yes.
Just a moment. I'm going to. So you're focusing on all three types of learning styles. You want to see which of these?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And your sample will be?
Sorry?
Your sample.
My sample consists 23 of students.
Where?
In Darul Ulum Islamic Boarding School, sir.
Darul Ulum. Okay. English proficiency. What English proficiency you want to check?
Because if I'm will speaking, maybe speaking proficiency.
Sorry?
Speaking proficiency.
I don't know how would you define proficiency. Please add, because it's very, very generic here. In your terminology, you should outline and limit. First outline, give a big picture, and then focus on what you are going to do with English language proficiency. Because I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, if you are going to analyze speaking, isn't it better if you probably go and focus on speaking, for example, and then you simply say the learning style correlation to speaking, because English language proficiency is basically testing all your skills, speaking, reading, listening, writing, so on. And I don't know if it's possible to do all of them in Darul Ulum, yeah, because I don't know how many hours they are teaching English, and they are only introducing English as a general course, for example. They don't have, if you are going to use proficiency, either you want to focus on one or you change your participants to English department student, because proficiency is testing. Unless in your Darul Ulum, I think I have students measuring the participants in Fajar Harapan on their TOEFL preparation class. So she was analyzing the improvement of the English proficiency based on the TOEFL preparation class in Fajar Harapan and Modal Bangsa. Ya, jadi kalau English language proficiency in general, I think it's too big, too broad, it makes you difficult. Jadi tolong diperbaiki di proficiency dan fokusnya di terminologi. Learning style tadi sudah di-comment ya, so I think that's it. My additional point of.
Right, thank you, Pak Saiful. Right, for Shafira, I'll just check again your references, and I found that actually only one, I think, only one immediate journal regarding your topic, and that is not enough. Okay, so what you should do now is you go back to your proposal, and then you check how many immediate references about your topic, but then your topic should be smaller. So you need to choose, as mentioned by Pak Saiful, if you really want to do on speaking, then you have to find references on speaking. Can you hear me, Shafira?
Yes, Miss.
Right. Yeah. Even now, because on the proposal, I can see that you have 4 skills there, because you want to see English proficiency. Still, Okay, still I couldn't find enough references for that 4 skills. Now, what you should do, first, you should revise the title, and then you should find immediate articles regarding your topic. What I mean, immediate references is articles that have been done about the correlation between student style and speaking ability. Okay, and I believe there are a lot. Okay, you just need to spend more time about that. Okay, so by this, I can only, I guess all of us can take it. If you can give me, if you can revise, you have to revise first, and then you add references, and then we can accept that. Okay, but generally that's fine. I mean, your idea fine, but we have to really make sure to make it small first. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you for Shafira. Now we go on to Shafira Lujan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Langsung jelasin aja, Mita.
Come again? Yes, 5 minutes.
So I will to explain about my research proposal on the title, Student Demotivating Factors in Learning English. So I took this title because we still found that there are any students who are not interested in learning English. And as we know that the cause is the motivating factors itself. So most of the students already have their own talk or their own mindset for the English language. As my experience when teacher training at Aceh Timur, most of the students say that English language is difficult to learn and it is also difficult to understand. So my questions, I have one set questions, and the question is, what are the demotivating factors to study English among senior high school students? And the methodology is I use quantitative for the methodology and instrument for the questionnaire. And then here I use questionnaire and SPSS for analyzing the data.
Oh.
I use questionnaire. That's all, Miss.
That's all. Okay. That's all? That's all.
Yes.
Right. Now, can you tell me how many immediate references that you have?
So I have for about 8 references for demotivating itself.
Right.
And oh no, not 8, but
only 1, 2. How many? 2?
1 or 2, Miss.
2. I see 2 only.
Yeah.
2. Okay. All right. 2 is not enough. 2 is not enough. Okay. We want you to have more, at least 10. Okay. Find a lot. There are still a lot about that because this topic is not. I mean, there are a lot of people doing about this. Okay, about demotivating. So what you should do is find sometimes more to add that references, immediate references. Okay, about demotivating itself. Okay, and the connection with their learning English. Okay, should be the connection between 2, demotivating and then learning English. Should be connection. That what we call by immediate references. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So I would like to invite Miss Azizah, please, to give about this.
Okay, Bu. Actually, Shafira is my her supervisor. Yeah, Shafira, I think you need to add the research question. Not only one, maybe you can add one more. Yeah. First, you ask about the students demotivating the factor, and then maybe you can add that how to the students or how to overcome the problem. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all you do for me.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Miss Azizah. We will invite Pak Saiful now, please.
Shafira, I think I like your title. It's something that is good, but you need a strong argument to, for example, I've seen your terminology. I always look at the terminology to see your focus or your limitation of study. You said there are 6 factors of demotivating, and I'm suggesting you, if you accept, for example, I will go because this is demotivating factors, because people mostly overlook this aspect and see what are students' motivation. Tadi siapa yang judul motivation tadi?
Shafira Kamila.
Lupa tadi saya. Yeah, so Shafira, yeah. So it's interesting. I really like you to proceed, but with some changes in methodology. I think you're not getting much data, especially if you have only one research question. I suggest you to go with qualitative research design, and you can go with in-depth interview, and you can limit your samples, but with more questions to be add on, for example. So instead of distributing questionnaire, and then they just tick, 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 and then they don't seem very much interested in the questionnaire, you could probably, because I'm suggesting the in-depth interview as your. So I don't know, what do you think about this? You may consult your supervisor, but I think if you can add a little 1 or 2 paragraph from your previous study, and you state also in your background that some small examples you have found so far, if you have, or some statistic or some coming from previous study, that will be a lot more interesting. Yeah, so I suggest you to go with this title with a slight change, but you need to discuss and see what other comments coming from the other boards. Yeah, that's all. What do you think? Is it possible to change? Or you're going with questionnaire?
Yes, sir. I will put more information.
Wait, how many questions in the questionnaire?
1. Oh,
sorry.
Question. Ada questionnaire, ada mungkin sekitaran 25.
Alright.
25. And participants?
Participants, saya berapa orang, Miss? Berapa orang, Pak?
Amin.
Banyak kali. Tanya Mbak Miss Azizah dong. Saya tanya ke kamu tanya ke Miss Azizah, nanti Miss Azizah tanya sama saya lagi. Jadi, kamu rencana berapa orang partisipan? You want to take it? How many? Karena kan questionnaire 25 tuh, oke lah. So far, oke 25. If you want to stick with questionnaire. You don't have to agree with my suggestion, but I will see that maybe if you can add or maybe change, jadi bisa dua-dua nanti ya. Makanya saya mau lihat sampelnya ada berapa. Rencana sampel ada berapa? Di MAN 9 ya?
SMA 2.
SMA 2 mana?
Bandar Aceh.
How many participants?
30 students.
30 students, one class.
Second ini.
Yeah. So, okay. My last question is, my final question is, why did you decide with the motivating factors as your title? Because it looks very, very negative.
Because as I said before, when I was studying at Aceh Timur, the students seems interesting with the lesson. So I want to know what makes them feels that.
That was in Aceh Timur. If you found nothing, more on quantitative sampling technique, qualitative sampling technique. If you want to see Mandua, better to have comparison. Mandua di mana tuh? Di temen ya? Test consideration. So thank you much.
Yeah.
Okay, we would like to get Miss Liz.
It's really good if you still do with it, and then you just need to put some other participants, because this one is really interesting to know why their reasons about their learning English. So I think the greater number of participants better, because this one is a questionnaire. So I think you need more than 50 participants. Is it okay?
Okay, Miss.
50 participants just to share the questionnaire, and then they just answer that you have done on your more participants is needed. Yeah, if you just use the questionnaire and you just have one research question. But if you add some other research questions, maybe you might look later.
Yeah, great, Miss.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Miss Rahmi. As to me, the title fine, okay, the topic fine, you have mentioned your intention is fine, but only for the proposal itself. As Miss Rahmi, Miss Azizah, and Mr. Saiful mentioned earlier, if you first only for answers, means you have to add more respondents. To me, it will be much better if to another schools, not students. So we can see actually 2 schools about that area, maybe remote area, not in Banda Aceh. If possible, then you can add. So at least when we say something, we can a bit to generalize, because not only for one school, but also neighboring schools, near school. If you take in Aceh Timur, so another school of Aceh Timur also. So we don't compare, just to see how much variety of the answers from the 2 schools. Okay, and as Miss Azizah mentioned earlier and suggested earlier, when you say something negative about demotivating, you or we as readers, we would like to know actually what we can how to solve the problem, at least from the point of view of the students. If they say they are not happy with speaking, so you would like to ask them, what do you think to make you happy in speaking, for example? So from their perspectives, okay, what do you want? Okay, sometimes they don't know, they can't do it, but they have a view on how to overcome the problem. So you ask the possible solution from the student themselves. Okay, so
Bu Khairiah.
about yes.
Sorry, so sorry
Yes.
for interrupting. Just is it possible to change the place where she might maybe conduct the study? I think it's better if this case can be researched in remote area, as you said. So let's say in Aceh Timur or something. So I think it's better, just because I assume that the students there, they are lack in English. So I think it's better to just do the research over there rather than in Banda Aceh.
Yeah, I think that's much better, because like you give more impact on them, because they fear that kind of demotivation problem.
Yes.
Okay, is it possible, Shafira, if you go to like remote, not in cities, I mean not in Banda Aceh? How do you think about that? Do you think you can go somewhere remote?
Yes, Miss. Inshallah, I can.
Okay, inshallah. So we settle about that. Okay, whether you want to add research questions, depending later with your supervisors. Okay, so if you have only one question, then make it bigger. If you have only only one research question, then you have to add more participants. Okay, or otherwise you can discuss about that later with supervisors. Okay, all right. So by that, I really need you to add, okay, more immediate resources. Okay, about that. Otherwise, you will be in trouble yourself. Okay, right. Okay, so that's clear. We take it by a slight revision. Thank you for Shafira. Now we go on to Oka. Oka, please proceed. 5 minutes, please. Is Oka here?
Yes, I'm here, Miss.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, Oka.
Assalamualaikum wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Honorable to Mr. Saiful, to Ms. Khairiah, Ms. Rahmi, and Ms. Azizah. So here, to explain about my proposal by the title, Student Difficulties in Translating Text into Indonesian. Here, as we know, the mastering English translation is important for English education students and for communicating with other people that from different countries. Students or someone should understand the language that used in that country. So, if the way to understand the language is by translation. And then in English education of WIN, translation is the compulsory subject that they are translation 1 and translation 2. Each has 2 credit semester for both for each semester. Then based on expert said that grammatical rules such as adverb, verb, and noun have pronoun as one of the barriers in the process of translation. It means that someone who wants to translate the text needs to understand and use the appropriate grammar in order to make a complete sentence. So, the result question question is, what are the students' difficulties in translating English text into Indonesian? And then the second, how students overcome the difficulties of translating English text into Indonesian. Then the aim factor, which the factor that makes students difficult in translating English, and to find out a way that and then about the result design. Here I use the qualitative research method. And why did the research choose I chose qualitative method because this method explore and investigate the problem in depth. So, for deep understanding of the difficulties, the researcher used interview as an instrument to collect the data And about the population and samples, about the population and sample in this study, the population was the 6 students. Breakdown translation 1 and the third and fourth English language education of in Paraniri. And then with the introduction, I use interview with structure interview, and then what? 6 questions. After I collect the data by interview, was recorded, transcript, and then in data reduction, I use from the unusable data. This process aims to get clear information about the topic. So the result interview was sorted in a group to analyze the result easily. That is.
Right, thank you, Oka. Oka, I couldn't see your references here on your proposal.
Yes.
I couldn't see any because you didn't write it.
I'm really sorry, Miss. When waktu daftarnya tuh saya kirim proposal yang salah. But yang the right proposal, I have sent it to WhatsApp group.
Okay, right. Okay, right. So, how many immediate references for that? How many immediate references?
Itself, I have 6 references.
No, I mean not only references, immediate. Yang langsung kena topiknya. How many do you have?
6, Miss.
6.
6 references.
All right, and I believe there are a lot there. Still a lot. So you have to add some more. Okay, just to make you easier when you do the thesis later on, because you have enough modal for that. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, right. And now we would like to invite Miss Rahmi, please, to give first comment for Oka.
Okay, thank you, Bu. So to me, this title first, yeah, the title is about students' difficulties in translating English into Indonesia. So it seems that it's really common and everyone knows that translating thing is really difficult, is it? So why don't you put, why don't you use something like the student strategy in translating English into Indonesia, something like that. So we just know the point of your research. Yeah. So I just, my suggestion is about the title first. Yeah, like I said earlier, that the students' strategy in translating English into Indonesia. Yeah. So that's one. And then About the research question, maybe you might use what are students' difficulties then, and also the students how they overcome the difficulties they have in translating text from English into Indonesian. And how do you collect the data? Okay.
By interview, Miss.
Okay, using interview. How many questions do you have in your in the list?
There are 6 questions. It's maybe 10 question, Miss.
10
Miss.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I mean, whatever it is, I just have my suggestion is about the title first, yeah. So the student strategy, I think it's better rather than the students' difficulties, because, as I said, everyone knows that it's difficult, yeah, to translate Indonesian into English or English into Indonesian. I think that's all from me, Bu Khairiah. The rest is okay.
Right, thank you. To Oka, I feel the same. Like the topic of your proposal is about difficulty, and we know that already everybody has difficulty. Why not then? Probably okay with the title, but then for the research question, you may need to add the one. Okay, after you find out what are these and strategies students need to do regarding that. So they know that they have done not really well on something, but they have to know what to do to make it better in the future. So I think, yeah, we need 2 research questions, because we just don't want to see what their difficulties without knowing how to overcome it. Yeah, the impact will be much better if you can have both research questions. Okay, right. Now we would like to invite Miss Azizah, please, to give comments for Oka.
Yeah, okay, good. Actually, the title is quite good. I agree with the title. You need to ask you students. Yeah. And then I got the sample. Yeah. Who is the sample?
The sample is
who is the sample?
Student 6 semester.
Okay, student PBI.
PBI, yes, PBI.
Okay, that means the student who have only take writing, translation subject, right?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Did you mention it in your proposal? In the population?
Yes, I mentioned it.
Okay. And then how many students, how many samples that you choose from population?
For you, I 10 students.
10 students.
For the sample.
For the sample?
Maybe it takes class of 6 semester, and this consists maybe 50 students.
How will you choose the sample? What kind of technique that you use to choose the sample? From 50 become A become 10.
No, Miss. For interview, I focus with 10 students. For 2 class, ini apa? Dari 2 kelas itu, Kak, pilihnya 5, ya. Kalau misalnya 5 kelas, ya, Miss.
Berarti kan gini, populasinya itu berapa unit populasinya? Berapa anak semester 6 ada berapa unit? Itu anak semester 6 yang sedang mengambil mata kuliah translation atau bukan?
Itu yang udah, Miss.
Ya sudah, oke. Berarti ada berapa orang semuanya populasinya?
Itu baru.
Kira-kira ada berapa? 2 unit ya?
Ada 4 kalau nggak salah ya.
4, oke. Ya, kan 4 unit. Tapi yang mau diambil sampel, itu kan sampel berarti instrumennya apa aja? What kind of instrument do you use?
Interview, Miss.
Interview, okay. It means you only took 10 students, right? For your sample?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of sample do you use? Pakai samplingnya pakai apa? Mau apa? Menentukan sampelnya itu pakai apa?
Purposive.
Oke. Purposive. Oke. Berarti nanti kalau pakai purposive harus tentukan why you choose 10 students. Kenapa 10 orang ini terpilih? What is your reason? Yeah, you have to mention why you choose this sample. Kan dari berapa orang tadi populasi, ketika dipilih sampel pakai purposive 10 orang, alasannya apa sehingga yang 10 orang ini terpilih untuk dijadikan sampel? You have to mention it clearly, okay?
Okay, Miss.
Okay, Ibu, I think that's all from me.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Azizah. Now we would like to have a comment from Mr. Saiful, please.
Well, okay, it's under my wing, but I do have some questions, but I will post it on the comments on the revised proposal. Yeah, one of them was the one being asked by Ibu Azizah earlier, yeah, about the sampling. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you should refer to the work of some of WIN students. Yeah, this is for all students. I think you should add at least 2 repository scriptsy from your seniors, and you will see some relevant studies for your research. Ya, jadi I have made some suggestions. That's it, Ibu.
Thank you. Thank you, Pak Saiful. So now for Yulia Astuti, because she couldn't make it today for this session, so the 4 of us will discuss personally with her, and then we are going to give our comments whether it is accepted or not later on for Yulia Astuti. Right. And then we go back to Bella. Okay, for Bella, are you still there, Bella? 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 Are you there, Bella?
On your microphone.
Couldn't see Bella here. Bella? Okay, right. Okay. To me, the snake and ladder is fine. Okay. But you need to add more references about that, because snake and ladder is not that many done so far. You can't hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
No, I can. Sorry.
Can you hear me? Can you? You just use your headset then. You use your headset. Okay. Use headset. Okay. You need to add more references about that.
No. I'm not using headset, Miss.
Just use headset. Okay. Just use headset. Use it.
Sorry. Bella baca
use headset.
Bella baca chat. Okay. Use handset,
Apa Dipa?
Nggak ada private chat juga di situ, ada fiturnya, jadi bisa dipakai chat.
Nah, dia nggak tahu mungkin. Cantik kali Dipa.
Okay, Miss. Yes, Miss.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, Miss, a little bit. I can
Okay,
hear
right.
Miss. Yes, Miss.
Okay,
I
right.
hear a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Bella, in my opinion, your title is okay, but it seems that you don't have enough immediate resources for that. Okay? Okay? You need to add more references. Okay. Okay?
Okay.
Right.
Okay, Miss.
Okay. Now you invite Miss Azizah, please, to give some comment.
For Bella?
For Bella, yeah, the first one.
Oh yeah, actually, I almost forget.
Still not hear you, Miss. I'm sorry.
Huh? Still not here? I think it's better if we write it later on the WhatsApp, or we tell to Deepa about our comment.
Okay, Bella, can you hear us?
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Can hear, Miss. I'm sorry.
I cannot.
I don't know
It's okay.
why.
Then we discuss later on through WhatsApp, okay? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Bella, we discuss about your proposal through WhatsApp later on. Okay? Okay. Right. Okay, by that, so then I hope that everybody has noted some comments given by us, right? So because we have gave all opportunity for the students, so I think we can end this session now. Is there anything you want to add, or Miss Rahmi or Miss Azizah and Pak Saiful? I think it's on the way. Okay, all right. Okay, Dipa. Hello, Dipa.
Yes,
Dipa somewhere else. Okay, right. Dipa, so we concluded already. For Bella and Yulia will discuss about the proposal personally with us, probably through video call or through WhatsApp. So only 2 of them couldn't make it today or not clear today. While the rest, I believe they have taken advice. I think by that we end this session. For research for your study, keep happy. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Happy fasting all.
Tadarus.